Okay, let's try and unpack this. There was this pretty significant phone call, right, more than an hour long, between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump.
Yeah, quite a long conversation.
Mm.
And you wonder, what were the really key things discussed, especially now?
Exactly. That's what we're diving into today. We've got excerpts from one particular account titled Putin's Retaliation Warning, Trump's Call.
And our goal here really is just to cut through any noise and pull out the main points this source is making about that conversation, just the core insights, so you can get a clear picture of what this report claims.
Right. And this account seems to really focus on, well, two main things from the call.
Mm.
First, Russia's stated reaction to a specific event in Ukraine. And second, kind of intriguingly, Iran comes up.
Yeah, let's start with the Ukraine part. According to this source, Putin's language was, well, pretty direct.
How so?
The report notes that Trump, after the call, relayed that Putin stated very strongly that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields.
Very strongly. That phrase really, it jumps out from the source material, doesn't it?
It does. It suggests, according to this account, a real sense of necessity, maybe intensity, behind the potential response.
Right, following what the report calls a major drone attack on those Russian air bases. So not just a casual remark, but presented as a firm statement of intent.
Exactly. And then the source puts this into context, too.
Yeah.
It mentions Trump also said, afterwards that this long call probably wouldn't lead to immediate peace between Russia and Ukraine.
Okay, so managing expectations there.
Right. And that detail, included in the report, it kind of underlines how deep the tensions were, despite them talking directly. It suggests the source saw this less as a breakthrough, more as a confirmation of where things stood.
Okay, so the source paints this picture. Putin's strong warning on retaliation tied to that Ukraine event, and Trump saying, hold on, this doesn't mean instant peace. But then, as you said, there's this other element.
Yes. And this is where the account adds a layer the source seems to find quite interesting, maybe unexpected. Iran, yeah. The report notes they discussed Iran. And even more surprising, perhaps, according to this account, Trump reported Putin actually suggested he could help out with nuclear talks involving Iran.
That feels significant, or at least noteworthy that it's included. Why bring up Iran nuclear talks in a call seemingly focused, as the source presents it, on the Ukraine situation fallout?
Well, that's a really good question. What does that detail highlighted in the report tell us?
About the different threads, maybe, or leverage points being juggled in these high-level talks.
It certainly points to the complexities, doesn't it? Discussing, acute conflict in one area, then pivoting to nuclear diplomacy in another.
Yeah.
The source doesn't really speculate on Putin's motive for the offer. It just reports that it happened, which itself gives us a glimpse into the potential scope, how different international issues might connect or, become bargaining chips.
So pulling together these key points just from this one source,
Mm-hmm.
we've got Putin's reported firm stance on responding to the Ukraine attack, Trump's tempering of any immediate peace expectations from their conversation,
Right.
and then this detail about Iran being discussed, with Putin reportedly offering help on nuclear negotiations.
Those are the specific elements highlighted in the account we looked at. It gives a snapshot, doesn't it? Not just conflict points, but maybe some surprising diplomatic angles mentioned in that call.
It really shows how complex these conversations can be.
Absolutely. Multi-layered.
So think about that. What do these specific points, drawn straight from this source, suggest about the tensions, but also the potential diplomatic maneuvering happening behind the scenes?
And specifically, given the source mentions Putin's reported offer on Iran, well, what might that suggest about his view on international leverage? Especially when it's brought up right alongside the Ukraine conflict. It's definitely something to consider as you think about this information from the source.